Welcome to the Electrothrust Power Speedway, and the first in a new series of head-to-head races here, exclusively on VHSX. This purpose-built time trial run has everything you'd expect from a modern race facility. It has a start, some corners, a straight bit, and a finish line. State of the art. Let's check out today's challenges. I like it. Zesty. And they're on the way. Failure getting a remarkable start there. He seemed to have the throttle all the way down before the klaxon had finished sounding. And that's going to give him a bit of an advantage as they head out of the start gate. However, he seems to have fluffed his gear change. The M7, of course, is an automatic, whereas Failure's adopted a gear-based train, just because, I don't know, he's some kind of nutcase. Anyway, he's got the power back on now, but it's too little, too late. I mean, he was never going to win this one anyway. The M7 has a much higher top speed, and unless Trainboy makes significant errors, is the word. That's the one. I'm going to use it. Unless Trainboy makes significant errors, then Failure's got absolutely no chance. Anyway, Trainboy now going through the wiggle on the way out to Python. Heads into the Python now, navigating his way through the dark and windy mysteriousness. And we get our first checkpoint as he comes back into the light and sees the daytime. There it is. 1:09:14 for Trainboy. I don't know, is that good? Could be. Anyway, it's the world record as things stand right now. Failure now into Python. He's trailing there ever so slightly. To be honest, he's going to trail for the entire race. I don't know why we put these two against each other, but it seemed like, two multi-unit trains going head to head might be a winner. Might not. You never know. Anyway, Failure split time of 1:28. He's trailing by 19 seconds already at the first split. I don't see this getting any worse as Trainboy starts to get pretty close to the top rated speed on that M7, which is a very healthy 100 miles per hour. If we can push beyond that, that's what we like to see. That's what the crowds turned up for. Anyway, the rules of this particular race are relatively straightforward. Failure to hit the whistle boards as you go past them with an appropriate sounding toot will result in a penalty, and Trainboy gets his first toot in right there. Very nice, good tooting there from the Trainboy. He knows his stuff. He knows what he's playing at, what he's aiming for. He's been training for this for quite a long time. Pun, of course, unintentional, but you can't talk about practicing for things without saying training once in a while. So look, let's just take the pun as read, and then we won't have to worry about that ever again. All right, good, nice to have you with me. Anyway, Failure's a little bit slow on the uptake. He's only now moving through Chubby's Revenge. But the M7 of Trainboy is well out in the lead, and is making his way up to the top speed he's capable of by ploughing down the trots, which is the long back straight, before we head through the build-up towards Kropotkin's harpsichord. Once we get there, everything should be dandy. Failure looking for any advantage he can get. Bit of air through flow there from the window. I'm not sold on it, I'll be honest with you. Anyway, speaking of Kropotkin's harpsichord, Trainboy has made his way past the second checkpoint with 3 minutes 20 seconds on the clock. I guess that's a good time. He's up to 105 miles per hour now. Failure's got the wipers on for reasons, I'm sure of it. But Trainboy really does have the hammer down now, and there's some careful adjustments to speed required if you're going to make a good time through this track, and we'll see the strategy at play. I'm sure of it as Failure is now on the trots. That's all good. Of course, the bridge marking the end of that section of track, and the beginning of the next one. In fact, Trainboy is so far ahead at this point, he's even onto the second straight. That is hammer down, and that's an opportunity for you to get your train up to top speed. You won't get another one like it. Failure there, passing a whistle marker. Nice. Gives a soulful little toot, and that makes everybody feel quite a lot happier. Anyway, Trainboy's about to come up on Mr. Wiggles, the chicane, and he's probably going to negotiate that reasonably well. Negotiates that reasonably well as the track re-merges into being a single edifice of speed and power. We've got nobody's missing any of the whistle markers at the moment, and that's a shame, because there's the excitement of adding faults as people go, but I guess we'll do away with that. We've got clean driving throughout on this inaugural run here at the Electrothrust Power Speedway. There is, of course, a heavy whistleboard section there as you pass Kropotkin's Harpsichord and head towards Hammerdown, and it's going to catch out some of the drivers who have elected to go with just a single power unit. Any train can be used on this run, but as we speak, it is Trainboy coming up on the final, and there he is crossing the line at Happy Eater. A time of 5:51.02. He's going to be pleased with that. Probably, I don't know. Well, it's a remarkably good time, and that's the one to beat. It will be beaten, possibly by an M7 if someone fancies a crack at the M7 title. I'm eager to hear it. However, Failure is still out in the countryside. He's just finishing off on Hammerdown now. I believe he's coming up on Mr. Wiggles, although I could be wrong. I've got a certain level of familiarity with the course. No, here we go into Mr. Wiggles now, where of course the track splits into two. Most drivers will choose to take the inside lane here. The alternative, of course, is to stop the train, get out, change the points, switch over to the other side, and then switch them back again afterwards. Seems like quite a lot of faff, I'll be honest with you, in order to try and get a better time, especially since that's the slower lane. Anyway, so Failure now, he's got a little way to go still to reach the finish line, but he's a contender and is not going to give up quickly. Whether he gives up or not is irrelevant. He's going to put in a pitifully slow time, but the crowd expect us to finish, and finish we will. There's very few perils in the late section of the track. But there is still the opportunity to slip up, and anybody could make a horrendous error at any point. Are we going to see that today, I wonder? Well, if it wasn't me driving the train, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But I can tell you, no, you're not. You're not. No horrendous errors today, other than, of course, completely fouling up the gear changes there at the start. But hey, sometimes you're the bat, and other times you're the pigeon. And today, Failure is very much the pigeon, and has been leathered by the bat in no uncertain terms. So he's coming up now on the Happy Eater. He's passed under Jenny Agata to reach the final marker post there, and he's going to get across the line, completing the track in 8 minutes 16.2 seconds. And yeah, that's not good, is it? No, second place for you, son. So that's opening weekend from the VHSX Pro-Am Sprint here at the Electrothrust Power Speedway. Would you like to try your hand on the train of your choice? Check out the description. You should. I've been Colonel Failure. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheerio.